Hello again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm making another video on the series of the White Matrix. And I invite you here today, first of all, to look at the other videos that I posted beforehand on this series. I think they will enlighten you and help you to understand where we're trying to go with this series and to help you to understand what's going on in the world today and how we can make a better tomorrow. Now, it's not off topic, it's very much well in topic. I realize that this topic is actually pretty hard on some people, namely those that are in the white matrix and also those who defend the white matrix. I realize that a lot of the information I'm speaking to you with, including even the passion of reconciliation amongst the people, are things that you haven't heard before. And they could seem kind of more like someone throwing a multitude of questions of a trigonometry test when you're still in sixth grade, catching up on or adding, subtracting, and multiplying. So I'm going to make it a little easier on you today, if you can call it that. And I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to say some names. And I'm going to ask, do you recognize them or do you not recognize them? Let me tell you the first one. William Penn. I'll say that name again because that didn't seem like that came out right even to me. William Penn. How about George Fox? How about James Naylor? Richard Huberthorne? How about Margaret Vale? Do you know of any of these people which I just spoke of? Would you equate them as heroes or people you don't know or villains? The reason why I'm asking is because those names are equated to real heroes in America. And if you've never heard of them, well, then that's a tragedy in itself, isn't it? Every one of those people whom I just mentioned are white in race. They are also godly in character. You see, the names I just mentioned belong to a bunch of people who belong to people called Quakers. There would be absolutely no American independence, no black independence, no women's rights movement or independence in America without these people I just mentioned. So for those who are black, who are somehow equating this serious about, well, sticking it to the quote unquote white man or some other thing, it is because of these people whose skin color happens to be white that you have anything resembling anything in this country that is positive. And yet, where are the statues? Their statues are not there despite what they've done for this country and the people in this country because the white matrix destroyed their names and made sure that you do not know them. Why? Because as I was already spoken in this series, the white matrix is the enemy to anybody who loves justice, peace, love, equality, and reality. And these people represented all of those things. I alluded to it in my video prior to this, but I thought once I had finished the video and had uploaded it that I really need to say more about the Quakers. And not only the Quakers, but others in this. They were abolitionists for on behalf of the black race as well as the Irish indentured servants and English children that were brought over here prior to the late or middle to late 1600s that were not people of color. And the Quaker fought on behalf of them all. They saw past any color line or gender line or any other line to make sure that there was someone fighting for the children of Adam and Eve and the children of God. And despite all the persecution they themselves not only had before they even came here, but when they came here, finally getting a moment of peace before the British Empire sends the same ones who had persecuted them here to colonize this nation in this land. And then, because of their beliefs and their fight for the same rights for people here on this colony, well, the white matrix destroys even their memory from our books, for the most part. They're not taught in our schools as heroes. Statues are not erected everywhere in their name. We don't have schools named after them, or we don't have recitals from the White House concerning their heroism. No, we just look up a Wikipedia page on a Quaker and say, well, that's interesting here, yeah, history, rather, and move on. These people, many with nameless faces to this day, and names, fought on the behalf of people with my skin color, and people in bondage, and people who are my gender, excuse me, because they are better than this nation deserves. And so I thought I would take a moment them, to honor them, and to make it known that to you, nameless names, and people who do not have a statue, and are not taught in our history books, and not remembered. I remember you, and some of us do remember you, and we know you. And to the children and great grandchildren, and down the line of those who have the Quakers who have done so much, even into the civil rights movement, even in the 60s, still the one behind the camera. Your greats, greats, and down the line is why America has enjoyed the fruits that it has. Because it certainly weren't the fruits from the white matrix, which was destructive, which raped and pillaged and took what it will. But it is because of Quakers, predominantly Quakers, but not simply Quakers, that we are here and not in the abyss of history. So to you, I honor you because of your ancestors, and I thank you. So, um, also want to thank um, those who came from different countries. It also advocated for justice and righteousness and equality in our society, from European nations, from African nations. Uh, Certainly, we've heard of Frederick Douglass and his advocacy, but he's a man of color advocating on behalf of his people also, so he's overlooked, and so many others of every color and race. But I just thought that I want to look at the hammer that's been driving this nail from the beginning, that's been breaking up this white matrix from the beginning. And again, those are the Quakers. So, for all of you who feel, and I don't know if you do or not, I'm just hypotheticalizing the prospect that some of you watching this video thinks that this thing is about blaming all white people and reparations and give me some money and blaming someone else. This is not that kind of video serious. You cannot fix a problem without first examining what the problem is, declaring what the problem is, being sure of what the problem is, and then proceeding from there, from the treatment to the cure of that problem. So if this is hurting you, that I'm bringing these things out that are problems that must be addressed, then good. Very, very good. Because when you go to the doctor and you say you have a stomach ache or something going on, you notice how the doctor doesn't have any mercy on you. You notice how he pushes on your stomach right in the area and says, "Do you feel this? Do you feel this?" And when you cry out in pain and say, "Yes, yes," you just let him know what the problem is. And that may not be comfortable to you in that moment. In that moment, you could probably want to punch that guy or that woman for daring to cause you more pain when you came in there for pain in the first place. But then, after that, when they say, I know what your problem is, take 3 of these and call me in the morning or some other word, you're now bragging about how good your doctor is at treating your problems and even diagnosing them. Consider me your white matrix doctor, and it's serious. I will cause you pain, and it's intended to cause you pain, but it's only so I can provide the treatment and even the cure. And you know where I get the inspiration to do so? As a man of color, not from Martin Luther King, not from predominantly Frederick Douglass, although certainly from him also, not from Nana and the struggles of so many in this country, whatever race they were. I get it from the tradition of the better ones than even I am, the Quakers. I'm not a Quaker, nor of that religion, if you will. I am a Christian. I'm a servant of Yeshua HaMashiach, or what some of you call Jesus Christ. But there are far better people who preceded me. And I'm just the same echo of their voice. They were the true voices that were heard. I'm simply echoing what they themselves have spoken and have done. You know, if you just listen carefully, you'll hear that original voice also of the Quakers and others who said the same thing I said. Some of them were in skin color similar to mine, some of them much darker. Some of them were not even my color at all. They were white, pale white, or they were Chinese looking, or Japanese, or any other varied skin color. Many of them were not wearing a shirt like I am. They were wearing a skirt. They didn't have short hair like I have. They had very long hair. Went down to their back or beyond. They were women. See, because the voice or the tone in which we speak may be different to you, but to us, it's the same voice. Whether we men or women, you're born in this time or any other time. Whether we were white or black or any other variants of skin color in between, our voice or the echo of our voice is the same. Freedom, liberty, justice, equality, love, peace, joy. They're the same voice or the same echo of the voice. And that's why I decided to write this and, well, rather, put together this video. Because it's easy to see a person make a YouTube video. And I've told you before, I don't edit any of these. That's why you see so many, to you, be mistakes. I say no, there's no mistake in the things I say, or how I say it, or the stuttering of my voice, or any other thing. You're speaking to me, and I'm speaking to you. And I don't mind you seeing the good as well as the bad in me. Warts and all is the old expression. Because I'm a human being. I'm not an advertisement or a method actor. I'm a person with the passion and love for human beings. And I want to see all human beings to be the benefit of all the things that are promised in our Declaration of Independence and in our Constitution that was never made for blacks. Of course, I understand that. But it was promised in our Declaration of Independence and supposed to have been shown in the Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident. It's obvious that all men, all of mankind, men and women, were created equal, and they were endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Period. And amongst these things are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those aren't the only three, but those are amongst the rights you were given by your Creator. And yet, those things are not realized even halfway in this country. The members of the white matrix, no matter what race it is, can justify a government official treating you like you're a 1 year old and telling you you can't put something in your own body. Think about that. Now, you may have an objection, and so do I. I do not do drugs or anything else of that nature. I do not drink, smoke, any other thing. But haven't you considered it remarkable that we've accepted that the government can tell you that you cannot put those things inside of your own body? Did you know that that practice was utterly abhorred, that you could not put something in your own body until less than 70 years ago? No such restrictions existed. It would have been considered utterly tyrannical to even suggest it. And yet now we've accepted it as norm. But you know, a fight that went on for 400 years. The right and fight that the Quakers did since the 1600s. They never stopped fighting. They started to fight against that white matrix for the rights of the English peasant and those seeking land on his country, or at that point, the colonies. They fought for the rights of free slaves in the late 1650s and such. They continued that fight through the Revolutionary War. They continued that fight through the Civil War. They continued that fight for women and the rights of women, wealthy women, to hold land and such other things, and for rights through the Jim Crow areas. They fought and they fought and they fought and they fought. They even fought through the civil rights area. 400 years. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Flight of and polite of people of color in this country for fighting for their rights, for fighting for not being dubbed just a beast of the field, not even a human being, were along with us, in front of us, and when we couldn't go up that hill, pushing us up that hill, were the Quakers. God has a special place for those who have done so, who have been the heroes that no one has acknowledged or even remembered. So if any of you at any time want to see my motivation, want to see what I think of white people, remember this video, watch this video, learn this video. And if it can come into your heart to step out of the white matrix for even a second, don't acknowledge me. You can still think what you want about me. But please, honor the Quakers. Thanks again for watching this video. This is Marshall Sanders. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening.